So recently on Tucker Carlson's show, Tucker Carlson Tonight, it's the show that Fox News put in Bill O'Reilly's time slot last year. And the thing is, Tucker Carlson has been essentially spending the entire time on Tucker Carlson Tonight, um, desperately trying to be Bill O'Reilly and not doing a very good job, mind you, because Bill O'Reilly was at least kind of charismatic and at least wasn't just awkward to watch. There's also the fact that, if you look at Tucker Carlson when he was on CNN or MSNBC, yeah, pretty much all the 24-hour news networks had to put up with him. He wasn't nearly as far right as he was. He was still far right, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't nearly this far right. Um, but yeah, the actual segment is about 9 minutes. However, the good folks at Real Clear Politics essentially condensed it down. It is amazing. You may think the media are capable only of skepticism and loathing, but think again. Journalists can love too. Hashtag journalists are people too. Their latest crush? The Democratic People's Republic of North Korea. Little nitpick there, Tucker, but it's just the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, not of North Korea. But again, Kim Yo-jong, whose brother is, of course, the undisputed dictator of that Stalinist hermit kingdom, which I take it is her fault somehow. I mean, that's what you're saying. He's saying the media shouldn't care about Kim Yo-jong, which I do agree they shouldn't be building her up, mind you. However, it's not her fault what her brother did. It's not her fault, oh, she just happened to be born in that family. I don't care. Is at the Winter Olympics this week. Oh God, no. Oh God, you mean leaders of the world and their family are meeting at a global event like the Olympics? Tucker, save me! And according to the press, she is a huge star. A bigger star even than our own Vice President, Mike Pence. Or, for that matter, a bigger than any of the actual athletes. I've seen nobody say that. Don't believe me? Consider some of these descriptions from the Washington Post. The Ivanka Trump of North Korea captives. From CNN, she's stealing the show. The New York Times says she turns on the charm. What? Returns. The Newswire, meanwhile, writes this. North Korea has emerged as the early favorite to grab one of the Winter Olympics' most important medals, the diplomatic gold. Ugh. Okay, the last one was reporting on the athletes, and if so, they should, because it's the Olympics. But that's... Okay, so goofy media did goofy things. I mean, if they spent an hour-long segment dedicated to talking about how her hair was great or something, I guess I could see your point, but no, this is really nothing. While reporters gushed over the world's last totalitarian state. What? It's the last? What? I don't think that's true, Tucker. Totalitarian is defined as relating to a system of government that is centralized and dictatorial and requires complete subservience to the state. North Korea is not the only place in the world that still does that, like he just implied. I know I'm nitpicking, but the thing is, these are extremely obvious things that someone like Tucker Carlson, who's supposed to be a political expert, he's been on TV for, I think, at least a good couple decades at this point, should have some idea. Mike Pence, who again is the Vice President of the United States, was attacked for not standing up to honor the North Korean athletes. Okay, I'll give you this. That is kind of silly. Well, if you're surprised, you shouldn't be. Progressives have a long, dishonorable history of supporting the world's most reprehensive regimes. No exaggeration. You're right, it was, for instance, progressives, who, off the top of my head, were best buddies with the king of Saudi Arabia throughout the entire 2000s. No, wait, that was the Republican Party, specifically George W. Bush. Okay, it was progressives who sold weapons to Saddam Hussein in the 1980s. Oh, no, wait, that was Ronald Reagan. Sorry. Okay. It was progressives who did a coup in Iran and installed the Shah. Oh, no, that was Eisenhower. Dang it. And by the way, as of September last year, we support 73% of the world's dictators. And, you know, conservatives control all three branches of government and a majority of state governments. The New York Times, of course, is Fox News, and what does Fox News do? They bash the New York Times. Just named one example. Supported Joseph Stalin, even as he was murdering up to 12 billion Ukrainians in the famous famine there. Okay. Citation needed, Tucker. Where did the New York Times say that Stalin was great? If you could find me that, I'd love to see it. The paper also led the cheering for Fidel Castro as he turned Cuba into a police state. Well, okay, give me the, first off, proof they did that in the first place. And second off, what time period was that? Because Fidel Castro started off holding a coup against a legitimate dictator. The guy he put out of power, I forget his name, was a dictator. And they tried to send him to court several times, and Fidel even tried that, and he failed because the guy was a dictator. Now, Fidel Castro, of course, got in there and became a dictator. I'm not saying Fidel Castro is any better in that scenario. However, I am saying there was a point in history where it was completely understandable, and probably even in the positive light, to view Fidel Castro as some sort of hero. Now, that time passed a long time ago, don't get me wrong, but it did exist. In 1975, and we're not making this up, I like how I had to clarify that, when the Kaiser rogue swept the tower in Cambodia, the New York Times made this prediction in a headline, "For most, a better life." One of the worst genocides in history followed shortly thereafter. Turned out not to be true. Okay, I'll give you that. That one didn't age well. Again, no proof that actually happened, but okay. Well, it's hard to find a dictator the left has not supported. Chairman Mao. Give me the list of leftists who openly identify as Maoists. I guarantee you can fit it on a 3x5 sticky note. Hugo Chavez. Chavez was elected. Like, he was elected. Oh, quite a bit, actually. And any amount of dictatorship that there was in Venezuela, that wasn't until afterwards. This isn't even like Fidel, where he just sort of put himself in power and never let go. Chavez, it was, I believe in 2000, ran as a socialist candidate and won. That's just objectively what happened. Idi Amin. Okay, I'm not the most familiar with Amin. I'm sorry, 1970s Ugandan politics isn't really one of my strong suits. So I'm just gonna let that slide. These people seem to have nothing in common but one thing. They were all communists. Chavez was a socialist, Mao was a communist. I'm going to assume Amin was a communist. They all hate America. Wasn't Mao buddies with Kissinger? Like, I'm pretty sure Mao at least was kind of buddies with Kissinger at some point. Turns out, progressive activists also have one thing in common. They resent their fathers. That's where their politics come from. The rest is just window dressing. What? So you can see why I didn't play the whole 10-minute segment, because it's long and it's just that, and Tucker Carlson's stupid. I like how in the end, though, it's like, they hate their fathers. Where's your proof for that? Where's your study that says that? They just do. I'm Ephrom, and good night.